Hey guys, Stickers here with eysgamers. Got episode 2 of MXSIM Editor Tutorials. Today we're going to cover how to make jumps. Again, I'm going to preference this by saying I'm not a professional at this. I am learning these as I go, so take that with a grain of salt. So I'm going to show you the techniques that I have been using, and I hope they help you out. So here we go. I'm going to load up my map that I've got going so far. I've made a basic tutorial map that I'm going to start doing these things on. So I'm going to sit here and wait for the gate to drop so I can move around and show you what I'm doing. And then I'll jump up to the overhead view so you can get a feel for the layout that I got going. Come on, gate. Drop, drop, drop. There we go. Okay. So here's our layout. Now, if you haven't seen the other video that I did one on how to make berms. So if you want to know how to make berms, go watch that video and then come back to this one. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cover making jumps. So I'm going to make a jump, a big old tabletop for this section right here, and then we'll just continue to add to this as you guys throw out new ideas, the new topics that you want covered. So just like the berm tutorial, we're going to use the gradients. These gradients are the most useful tool that I've found to use in this editor. When I first started using the editor, I was trying to use the raise and the lower and the smudge, and it just for jumps, and it just wasn't working. Then I went onto the MXSIM forums, and I found a thing on how to build jumps. So I'm basically going to take what they talked about in that tutorial online and put it into a quick little video here. So go to gradient placement. It's going to be just like the one we've already did here for the berms. You're going to go new gradient. It's going to drop this thing down, and then this is going to be your start point right here at the T, and this one is going to be your end point. So stretch at the length of the straightaway that you want to put your jump onto. And again, I like to keep mine as straight as possible for the length of the track. Now you're going to go over here to Gradient Edit, and it's going to give you the tabletop essentially that we're going to build. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to make this very exaggerated. I found for me exaggerated tracks are easier to learn what not to do. When you're trying to fine-tune something really tight and detailed, it's a lot harder to figure out what you're doing wrong. So I highly suggest you make something big and exaggerated before you start working on your replica tracks. First track I tried to do was replica, and it was a nightmare. So I just started having fun just messing with stuff. So we're going to make a big tabletop. So we'll run that up. And what I've been doing for these jumps is I've just been making them very straight, very generic, not a lot to them. I found that is the easiest way for me. So we're going to place this, and then we're going to smooth it out, and then it'll give the form of a tabletop jump. So unlike the berm tutorial where we talked about doing the radial add, we're actually going to do a linear add this time. So what you want to do is make sure that your focus is the width of the track. I generally just run this up so it's 100%, or it's at 1, so it's a full circle, and then I make sure my radius is just about the width of the track. So I guess you should probably go just a little bit bigger. So we'll go a little bit wider than the track, and that way you have some room for error. So we're just going to slide this all the way down, just moving the mouse down the line. Now since we're just doing basic jumps here, I'm not going to worry about making them look pretty. Normally I would go back through and I would square all these edges off like this to make it look good, but it's not that big of a deal. So now I'll show you what it looks like. It's going to look really rough, really jagged. Which is no good for jumping on. So here's our berm that we set up. Got a left-hander here. Now you can see how sharp that is. Like, that's not going to work. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the editor, and we're going to grab our smooth tool. Now, like I said before, I run this at about 2, so we just run the strength at 2, and then we just go over the whole jump. This is going to smooth it out, make it a lot more friendly. Here's a view of it. So as you run up on this thing, just like that, now you got a big, big tabletop. And like I said, this is pretty exaggerated, but this is a good starting point to figure out how you want your jumps. So we'll go through and hit it real quick. Just like that. It's pretty simple. I'll show you a quick little thing on how to do triples or doubles. It's the exact same principle as what we just did. So on your gradient placement, go back to your gradient edit, and if you wanted to make this into a triple, all you would do is bring this down and then put a little gap in between them, bring it back up for your double, and then boom, there's your landing. So that would essentially be a triple. And then when you smooth those out, it'll take out those points and make it nice and smooth. So that's pretty much the basics of it. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will be happy to answer them as best I can. Pretty much it, guys. This was Stickers with eysgamers. Take it easy.